While Nami's main purpose on the crew is as a navigator, she still gets into combat from time to time. So that's why during the Alabasta arc, she requested Usopp for a weapon that can make her a better combatant. This is where the Clima Tact comes in. Now, Nami's weapon before this wasn't anything special. It was a basic bow staff that she could split and form from 3 pieces. Now, this wasn't really a problem until the Straw Hats entered the Grand Line and started fighting even stronger opponents. And earlier, I kinda made it sound like Nami's combative skills were increased significantly, but that wasn't really the case. In her first fight with Miss Doublefinger, Nami got her ass whooped because it turns out that the Clima Tact was really just a toy made for party tricks. This was because of miscommunication between Nami and Usopp, but she did find a way to use this weapon effectively. See, the 3 pieces of the Clima Tact create different bubbles of air: the heat bubble, the cool bubble, and the thunder bubble. Now on their own, these bubbles don't do jack, but combined with Nami's knowledge of meteorology, they can be used in powerful ways. This was seen when she used the heat and cool bubbles to make a cloud, and then used the thunder bubble to create an attack known as the Thunderbolt Tempo. Another technique that Nami developed was the Mirage Tempo. She does this by using a cool bubble in a dry environment, which changes the air density. Now ironically, the attack that Nami used to defeat Miss Doublefinger was actually something that Usopp intended. This move was called Tornado Tempo, and while it did seem like another useless party trick, it was actually a pretty deceptive attack. So later on, Usopp actually created a competent weapon for Nami known as the Perfect Clima Tact. With this weapon, Nami could do basically all of the techniques that she could before, but to even greater effect. For instance, the heat, cool, and thunder bubbles are way more effective, and now they can potentially do damage on their own. Also, Nami can do even greater attacks, such as the Thunder Lance Tempo, which was used to defeat a member of CP9. Now, while the Perfect Clima Tact seems like an amazing weapon already, Nami upgraded it even more throughout the time skip. During her time on Witheria, Nami took on the vast knowledge of weather that the citizens had, and after incorporating her newfound knowledge with the Clima Tact, she created the Sorcery Clima Tact. This variation is not only more powerful than the last, but it can also help carry out daily activities. Overall, the Sorcery Clima Tact takes way less setup. No longer does she need to use multiple heat and cool bubbles, as now Nami can make entire mini climates with just a weather egg. Nami also has the abilities to use lightning as a whip, turn invisible, and make entire clouds that she can stand on. Now if you thought that was it, you have another thing coming, because the Sorcery Clima Tact has received multiple upgrades. The first of these upgrades was made by both Frankie and Usopp. With this improvement, known as the Grow Up, the Clima Tact completely changed shape and color. Now it has the ability to extend on both sides, depending on how much pressure is applied to the handle, allowing for a smaller weapon but longer range attacks. The last and most powerful upgrade for the Clima Tact is Zeus. Now Zeus is one of Big Mom's homies that has the ability to turn into a lightning cloud. And if you don't know what a homie is, they're basically pieces of Big Mom's soul that give life to objects. So while Zeus was on Big Mom's side, she saw him as weak because he kept selling the bag basically. Due to this, Big Mom created a new homie named Hera, who was better than Zeus in every way. And to gain more power, Hera had to eat Zeus alive. Since Nami treated him well in the past, Zeus decided to stick with her and transfer his soul to the Clima Tact. And during her fight with Ulti, he made his presence known. Now let me remind you guys that even though Zeus did sell with Big Mom, he was still no pushover. Due to Zeus being the Clima Tact itself, he can manipulate the shape of it by using the Grow Up technology that I mentioned before. This now allows Nami to fight at close range as well, and if she makes a thunder cloud, Zeus can transfer his soul to it and make the lightning way more coordinated. Using these newfound abilities and by working together, Nami and Zeus were able to take down Ulti, one of Kaido's top officers. Also, before they teamed up, Nami used Zeus to perform an attack that put Big Mom in a crater, but I put an asterisk around that because this was when Zeus was in his original cloud body, and now he's possessing the Clima Tact, so I don't really know if the power transfers over or not. So I'm not gonna say that Nami has like Yonko level attack potency or anything, because you know, it's kind of weird how it works. And she did this through a very convoluted process by which Zeus was off guard, and he was powered up by multiple black thunderclouds that Nami fed him. So I think that it's questionable on whether Nami can perform this feat again or not. But regardless, I think that with Zeus, Nami has the potential to be one of the strongest Straw Hats, because lightning is like an end-all be-all for 99.9% of One Piece characters, except for this idiot. What I can say though is that with Zeus, Nami is definitely a competent fighter now. She's no longer the weakest one on the crew and has the potential to be insanely powerful. But that pretty much wraps it up for this video, and if y'all are wondering why I chose this topic specifically, it's because I find Nami's techniques and abilities interesting because, you know, there's not really any other character in One Piece or even in anime in general that has their powers and abilities tailored to their character specifically. Like, Nami is the navigator of the crew. She's all about weather and meteorology and stuff like that, and the fact that like her abilities have everything to do with that. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna punch you real hard, or I'm gonna kick you real hard, or I'm gonna slash you real hard, or something like that. She's the only one that can use the Clima Tact, and the only other anime that I can think of that has that much of personalization to their abilities is Hunter x Hunter. But that's just my explanation as to how I made this video out of everything else. Thanks, video next week. Bye bye.